Hi, this is Reality Supreme Being, and I'm on the air again. I'm looking at the time element here. Yesterday and last couple of times, over the last, let's say, 3 or 4 days, I've done a few videos. I told you that all my videos, all 400, have encrypted predictions, all interwoven into every one of the videos. If one has been erased or one has been sabotaged, then, which they have been, then it is the work of either the government or it's the work of something beyond the government. Now, I've explained my videos about the websites involving that there are things that are beyond our human understanding on planet Earth. Some people call it religion, gods, so on and so forth. I mentioned 3 websites that you all need to go to in order to understand what this business is about God and all that. I mentioned the 12th Planet, the book. I've mentioned, a lot of people have mentioned it. Like I said yesterday, and yesterday or the day before, dated yesterday or the day before, that we could very well be children of an advanced race that has been here all along, hiding, who have great capabilities. They have invisible capabilities. They have the ability to interfere in our lives. But what they didn't expect was when they spliced in the natural evolutionary ape creatures here on planet Earth, they spliced in part of their DNA that even they didn't have, or they thought they had total control over, but they don't. Nobody does. The God concept, you can just throw it out. Although there are a lot of people that are still, I call it, if you're still got your nose in a Bible, the Koran, or whatever, you're pretty well brainwashed, okay? And if you're not brainwashed by that book, you're brainwashed by people who are trying to control you through using that book, just like they're trying to control you using democracy, or dictatorship, or fascism, or monarchy. I guess the best way to put it is that, I hope this hasn't shut off on me. No, it hasn't. I guess the best way to put it is are there human beings walking around today that have had enough stimulus that they all of a sudden, you could call it next near to enlightenment, or you could call it an enlightenment in itself. It's not really enlightenment. It's a form of absolute stimulus. And the stimulus causes a chain reaction of a lot of thoughts that cannot be put down all in 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even a year's worth of teaching, because most people have to learn at their own rate. Now, I mentioned Prions, and I mentioned a lot of things that are all interwoven, all interconnected. Isn't it interesting that people will try to, look at the views of how many people have looked at Prions. When you punch in Prions on YouTube, you'll get Dr. Pershner, who won the Nobel, he's a Nobel Prize laureate, and he'll tell you about Prions. He'll tell you how seriously dangerous it is and how everybody is infected with it. Like I said, read the book again. Everything You Know Is Wrong. Okay, or Addicted to War, or another book that I have, which is called, excuse me a second, which is called, let's see. I'm trying to link this up for a lot of people so that you understand that there are changes coming, but you have to work to help those changes. Here's one of the books. Guy puts out some pretty good historic information on war and how it's, this is called We the People, A Call to Take Back America. I don't call it America. I overthrew the country symbolically in 1996 on cable access TV, and changed the name of America to Turtle Island, which is the original name by some of the native peoples who called it that here already. The white man never asked the native peoples, can we name your country? It was some German map maker that stuck a Medico and named this country, this continent, after Amerigo Vespucci, which is just one of the explorers back in the 1400s. Why not name it the United States of Columbus? I mean, or the United States of Leif Erikson. Why didn't they call this the USE, the United States of Erikson? Or the United States of Red, Eric the Red. I mean, come on. And they discovered the American shores and Greenland long before, Columbus did. Or read this book, Prophecies and Visionaries and Predictions. Where did all these things come from? They're interwoven in all your DNA. If I took one DNA strand, 3.5 meters long, 3.9 meters long, it's a little over 3 feet long, and threaded it out, you could put, it'd take you 2 years, if you remember Jurassic Park, the movie, 2 years just to look at the whole strand. That's meaning, let's say a DNA strand code looks like a barcode. So the barcode would flash on the screen 1 second, 8 hours a day, like a regular job, 7 days a week though, and it would take you 2 years just to get a flash look like this at all the DNA. This DNA could record the works of Shakespeare in coded information 400 times. That's just one of your cells strung out, unraveled, DNA unraveled. That, I've said this before in my other videos, if I glued every cell, every DNA strand, you've got 100 trillion DNA strands in your body, that would stretch out past the planet Pluto another 49,800,000,000 miles. Now do the math. 3 feet long times 100 billion. Strike that. 3 feet long times a little more than 3 feet long times 100 trillion. Okay? And you get the number of miles, divvied up by 3 feet and whatever it turns out. The problem here is, and I got another 10 minutes here, is that most people don't and will never understand the full scope of what you're dealing with, even though it's harbored right in your own body. Let's get back to Prions. Now, in order for me to really get across to you why I'm saying that a lot of these crazy things that have happened, the bombings and the shootings and all along, and maybe even the whole violence of the human race, is part of us are animal. We have those animal instincts, the beast. But there are other instincts in us that could probably be fueling that beast. It isn't just anger that someone else does, or it isn't just something you're hacked off about, like me in the city of Los Angeles, me in the crappy laws of the United States of America, state, federal, and local, how your country, your tax dollars have violated my life, destroyed my life, 30 years of it. Well, it's been 30 years since the mad cow disease thing. So it's come full circle, and it's time for revenge. You, your own selves, caused the revenge. Your own inability to control your behavior patterns, to not do things to people like what you've done to me and what you continue doing to me, and find peaceful, non-destructive solutions. No, that's not what's being done. Like those books I just showed you, they show that the human species is a very greedy, selfish SOB, both man and woman. And, and kids show that natural aptitude before humans infiltrate them and change their behavior patterns. But if you take a kid and you don't instill any behavior patterns on them, they will show those natural instinctual abilities. Question: how can I prove that all of this violent activity is not only half animal, but it's being fueled by other things? Well, changes in environment, mutations, but in the last few hundred years, it's been medicines and remedies that have been added to the human body to change it from its natural state. Now, on television you see people taking certain pills and this and that, and even psychological pills. And all these pills are supposed to help you. And the commercials always say, on more than one commercial with, I don't know, let's say 10 different drugs, they'll say, if you have thoughts of suicide, see a doctor right away while you're taking Abilify or any of these other drugs. Doesn't that strike you funny? You go, wait a minute, if a drug can affect the brain to have suicidal thoughts, then can it not also affect the brain with somebody who's angry, an Arab terrorist wanting to bomb this country for the hateful things that the United States have done, atrocious things that they've done, that they try to suppress even through the main media? And all of this, like an orchestra, playing over and over again, and everybody falling for it, every generation. Well, isn't it possible that these Prions, these misshapen proteins, can fuel that as well? Cause the mind to go in the direction of crazy thoughts and actually acting on those crazy thoughts. And if they happen to have a gun or a knife or, I mean, the answer is not taking away the guns from people. The answer is finding the solutions to all of these problems that are happening. But the politicians that are in power now and that have been in power all along, state, federal, and local, are not capable. They're not qualified to do any of this stuff. And I could say that they're not intelligent enough. I could say that they are haphazard. They don't have enough education. They don't have enough experience. But they're trying their best. Well, their best is not enough. Because whether these Sandy Hook, Aurora Theater, whether it's a conspiracy, whether 9/11 was a conspiracy, part government plot, part psychic thing happening, like for instance the coincidental thing that the show the Lone Gunman, which you'll find on YouTube, that in March of 2001 they aired a show that showed exactly the attack on the World Trade Center, a form of it, a storyline. In that story, that the plane was diverted, and of course the World Trade Center is still standing. I mean, what I'm trying to say is like I said yesterday, there are more than 6 billion brains. They're all going in all these different directions, and all these politicians trying to keep things going as they are. Well, that's called business as usual. And people are tired of business as usual. They want to see results, 7-letter word, results, long-lasting results, results that create a symmetry that cannot be broken for the next 1,000 years at least. But that's not going to happen so long as you have these people bouncing you back and forth between this dualistic party, Democrat, Republican, or Libertarian. It doesn't matter how many parties are out there. It's not the party you want to elect. It's the brains you want to elect. But if our brains are being affected by Prion activity, and like I said, if drugs can make you think suicidal thoughts and cannot Prion activity in the brain, which handles hundreds of thousands of different functions in the body, can't that also, in a weird way, make people act funny? Not just make them act like Alzheimer's disease or dementia, where they opened up brains and they found Prions in those brains of those people, and that's here in America, or Turtle Island. So, when I speak, there should be hundreds of millions of people listening going, you know, maybe this guy we got to give him credit, at least his excuse for ranting and raving. The guy's really pissed off. You've destroyed his life. What's he going to do, sit there and accept the whole thing? Now that I have a YouTube capability to bitch about it, I'm going to do it. But these people are sick. They have control of the media. You'll never see me on national TV. Why? Oh man, they got me all sewn up. If I speak perfectly controlled storyline on this YouTube, they won't publish that. They'll publish the one where I'm really hacked off that day and I'm ranting and raving and blah, blah, blah. This is how they control you. Did you know my house at DeSoto and Hart was the first house to be swatted in the San Fernando Valley? SWAT team there, all that, all based on a false police report. And no attorney came forward to protect my civil rights. Statute of limitations are long gone now. Nobody came to help me. But boy, Ashton Kutcher's house gets swatted, and other people's, and now it's all over the media. But poor little Caesar, no, he doesn't get mentioned that his house was the first one swatted. And that was no joke, because they did damage to my back. They did, that LAPD cop, that watch commander in that Van Nuys station on Van Owen, that guy is a jerk. He's an Asian jerk. Let me tell you, LAPD police, you don't need police in an advanced environment. Let me tell you what kind of police you need. In a truly advanced environment, I've said this in my other videos, there's no need for police except for small emergencies, crashes, automobile accidents. There's no need for them. You know why? Because advanced people don't do that kind of thing. They don't bomb buildings. They don't do that kind of stuff. They don't shoot other people. They respect other people's right to live and stimulate their own thought patterns to contribute to society as a whole in their own time frame. And that's what's not respected. So you know what? Good. Let Al-Qaeda do whatever they're doing. The Prion disease will take over. That's what those 680 detention camps are really for. To put all those people that start going wacky, put them away. They got trains all set up with seats and chains through anklets. They got all this stuff all set up. So you think about that when you listen to this video. You think about how you're being bamboozled here in this country and all over the world. And you go get those books and read them real good over and over again so you understand where I'm coming from and where they're coming from. Talk to you later.